Well, I've read the comic. Now it's time for my review. This is Darth Maul, the son of Dathomir. Let me get you a shot. Star Wars, Darth Maul, son of Dathomir. Issue 1 of 4. This story is based on an epic script written for Clone Wars, but unfortunately the show was canceled. And as a result, this episode never got to air. But thankfully, Dark Horse picked it up, so we are getting this story via comic book form, so we do get to know what happens to Maul. In this issue, we learn that Maul was taken to a prison by Sidious, and then Maul escaped, and that Sidious has plans. His plans he was referring to at the end of Season 5, when he electrocuted Maul, was just... He realizes that if Maul has been brought back to life, that means Talzin's out there somewhere, and she poses a threat to Sidious, and he wants to use Maul to lure Mother Talzin out of hiding. Now, before I get in, I just have a couple things to say. One is, I'm really upset that the show's canceled. I would have loved to have seen this story on the show, visually sound, because there's some moments where you really get the sense this wasn't written for a comic. This was written for the show first, and then comic as a way of just getting it out there. And you can really tell. And I feel like for as much as I really like this, I feel like I would have loved it even more if it was made the way it was intended to. But I also want to thank Dark Horse for making this comic, because I was really upset when I got to the end of the Maul arc in Season 5 and thought, oh man, we're never going to learn what happens. But thankfully, because of this, we at least are going to know what's going to happen. So with that being said, let's get into it. So overall, I really like this comic. I mean, even though it's very short, even though it's clearly, there's a lot of stuff. I mean, even some of the panels, like, it feels a little disjointed at times. Like, there's shots or scenes that are omitted or abridged. It's still good. I still really like it. It's a nice continuation of the story of Darth Maul. I like how we get to see what Sidious has done to Maul and what he meant by ever plans. I love the design for the prison in the opening of this. I would have loved to have seen that. I like how it seems like we're going to get some closure on Mother Talzin, and hold on, thought I heard something that said... Which makes sense that we're getting closure to Mother Talzin, because she's such a powerful character. It would be weird not to have her still be around at the end of the show. One great thing that I would have loved to have seen this on the show. We get to see Darth Maul interact with Count Dooku and General Grievous. That was awesome. It was cool to see these guys interact. I haven't seen it before. The biggest downside of this is nothing to do with the story itself. It's this comic. Now, it's nothing against the comic, but I feel like the action scenes really suffered from being a comic. These action scenes are clearly meant for the show. I mean, they show a bit of it, but I really get the sense that these action scenes were going to be really big, long, and fun, and you really can kind of get the sense of it in the comic, but not really. And also the visuals aren't that good. I mean, they're good, but I feel like they could be better. But again, this was made for the show, not a comic. But yeah. And also, I feel like this feels kind of short. I mean, it's just Maul escapes and he fights the Separatists for a bit, and then he flees. And I feel like there might have been a bit more. Like, maybe they trimmed it down a bit to get into the comic book form. Or again, maybe the action took up a lot more time, but because it's a comic book, they had to trim the action. But yeah, overall, I do like the comic. I am curious. It's interesting. I'm curious to see where it goes. I'm happy we got this story, but I wish the show wasn't canceled so we could have seen it in all its form. With the music, the voice acting, the animation, everything. But yeah, before I go, I just want to say, I'm really surprised that they don't credit whoever originally wrote this story in the comic, or that they don't show the original episode title, or that they don't show the Jedi Fortune Cookie. But Yeah, I would definitely recommend picking this up if you're a fan of the Clone Wars. It is a nice story, and it is cool to know what would have happened had the show been canceled. And I mean, all this does is just get me more upset about the show because I would have loved to have seen this visually. But again, we're getting the story, so it's nice that we are going to learn what happened to Maul. This is J Star 360, and may the Force be with you.